What I don't think there's enough of in this game is build diversity. And there's a couple of reasons I say that. Number one is there's a pretty set, like there's set lanes of things to do. You got your damage builds, your skill builds, and then you have like tank builds, which are defense. And there really isn't much other than that. You can obviously, you know, bleed between the lines a little bit by doing a status effect skill build, or, you know, a hybrid build of damage and skills, or defense and damage. Alternatively, just, you know, putting whatever build together you want, like a sniper build. There's all sorts of different stuff. But you really don't see many combinations of combinations. And that's what this build achieves. This is the chain healer. This build is so tedious to grind, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'll just go through the pieces. So what you're gonna want is really any marksman rifle with Reformation and damage to target out of cover. Pretty much just, you know, any real marksman rifle. The White Death is probably the one you're gonna go for, considering if you run marksman rifles on countdown as targeted loot, you get these and designated hitters like they're candy, so, you know, it's not really that difficult to finally get one that has Reformation. You really only need to get one that has one or the other dropped, and then just roll the other one for what you want. It shouldn't take too long, considering this is like a 1 in 16 chance, I think, to get this. I have no idea, because there's just that many attributes, and then this is a 1 in like 20 something. So it's just a matter of time before you get one or the other on a White Death, and it really shouldn't be that difficult to find one. Next, you're gonna want a capacitor, because duh. Then you're gonna also want a card pistol. You can have really whatever talent you want on this. It just matters more that you have the card pistol than really what talent it has on it. I have Future Perfect on it just because if I get a kill with it, I get overcharge, so why not? The only other real thing I could probably suggest over Future Perfect, probably either Preservation or also Reformation, like this thing has on it as well. But really anything works. Just don't use, you know, Protected Reload or Lucky Shot or any of the ones that just don't matter. Salvage as well is kind of pointless. So for the actual pieces, the first two you're gonna want specifically those, but you can get these in any combination with each other. They don't specifically have to be any one of these, except for maybe one of them, but we'll get there and I'll mention that. So the easiest piece to get, a Punch Drunk with repair skills. This should be trivially easy. You run Douglas and Harding on targeted loot, you get one of these to drop, and then you roll repair skills onto it. Easy peasy. This shouldn't take you any more than one countdown run to get. Really simple. Jumping from the easiest piece to get to probably the hardest. Alps Summit Backpack with headshot damage, repair skills, and safeguard. It's actually dropped a little earlier than I was expecting, but it still took a decent while. You need all three of those. So you either need to get dropped one of the two attributes and the talent, or you need to get dropped both the attributes and not the talent. You can keep it as a yellow core or roll it to a red core. If you somehow get the unicorn roll of all three, you can put it on a red core. It kind of just depends on whether you want more damage or more healing. And then these four, sort of, can be any combination you want. It has to be 2-piece Brazos, 2-piece Murakami. The reason I say kind of is because a Picaro holster is just such a no crap answer. Like, it's just really good. Weapon damage and a skill tier for one holster piece, and then you get a second skill tier by using a second piece of it. So you don't, you know, need to have a Picaro holster, but it's just very good. Alternatively, and I actually got a lot of these, you could use a normal Brazos holster with repair skills and headshot damage if you want the extra repair skills. Alternatively, you just try and get a Picaro's holster that has repair skills and then roll a skill tier onto it, because you can't have a second red core. So if you want to use a Picaro holster, and I recommend you do, the remaining three have to be any assortment of 2-piece Murakami, 1-piece of Brazos. It can be any order you want. You can have the Brazos set of gloves, Murakami Kneepads. You can have a Brazos chest piece with all the right rolls onto it. Difference being, the Murakami chest piece is easier to get as a Murakami chest piece than it is a Brazos chest piece, for the sole reason of it has a yellow core to begin with. So you don't have to re-roll that. You can instead get repair skills and headshot damage, which even now I still have to get. And then roll Headhunter onto it. They think Headhunter, that's probably a weird one to roll. Hence why it's called the Chain Healer. On heroic difficulty at 2 or 3 player scaling at full Headhunter stacks, you can one-shot your average elite enemy. Very useful, because it means you can still put out damage while being a healer. And then between the other two, it's the same exact thing. Headshot damage, repair skills, and headshot damage, repair skills on one piece of Brazos and one piece of Murakami. So, brief recap. Punch Drunk shouldn't be hard to get. Alps Summit also shouldn't be hard to get. 2-piece Murakami, 2-piece Brazos. More than likely you're going to want a Picaro holster, which also shouldn't be the end of the world. It's going to take a decent number of countdown runs, or you may get it first try. But just be on the lookout for repair skills or headshot damage on a Picaro holster. The other things to note, you don't need the Alps Summit backpack. You can have an Alps Summit, you know, gloves or whatever else. I just thought it was highly convenient that I got an Alps Summit backpack, so I could have that as the designated piece with everything on it. And also it makes a lot more sense to have repair skills and, you know, safeguard and all that stuff on an Alps Summit backpack. It makes more sense then than having it on a Brazos one. So even if I want to throw this onto something else, I can. As for skills, one of them's, you know, mostly up to your choice. The other one's the main star of this build. And it may not be the one you're thinking. The healer drone heals, it says 117,500 HP per second. That's before Reformation and before Safeguard. Reformation puts that 117 to about 150, and then Safeguard doubles that up to about 300,000. I'm not sure where it adds the 30% and where it adds the 100%, because that's the difference between this going from 117.5 up to 235,000 per second. And then adding on another 30% on that probably would only put it up to about 280,000-ish. Versus the other way around, where you're definitely above 300,000 per second. So it's hard to tell. And then, of course, getting overcharge is just gonna, you know, make it go through the roof. You get an extra 55% armor repair per second. So, you know, hence the card pistol with Future Perfect being pretty notable. But it's pretty good because you can just take that drone and stick it on the person in your party who you know gets hit the most. There's always one. There's always one. So that's this. Next thing to note, this is the skill. You can just pick whatever. You can pick a shield. You can pick whatever. I go with a Reinforcer Chem Launcher because Safeguard only works when you're at 100% armor. Since you have no armor regen and you also have no armor on kill, you can just double tap Healer Chem at your feet, and then it will probably get you back up to full armor, thus using Safeguard, and then healing up people even faster with the drone. So, pretty good. Oh, and also Technician Specialization for the extra skill tier, obviously. It's definitely the build that I run in duos and trios now, for sure, because it is very good at keeping people alive, and you can still do something when it's working. So, very good.
Has joined your group.
Me and the boys clearing heroic Capitol building invaded. Bill. I was like, there's no way no one is gonna get shot through that doorway. Yep, immediately. I wonder what Skaxo is running. Hold on. Oh. Okay. If he's gonna be up there, I'm gonna heal him instead. That guy's not gonna eat it as much. But I hope he looks on the flank. I really hope he looks on the flank. Oh god, smashy. I missed on that one too. You're good. You're good. How close are we? Oh god, almost there. Oh my god.
System curtailed.
That's some of the most fun of being a healer. Is you get to watch someone's life get ruined 3 times in 1 second. It saves plenty of space for the other 2 to get shot to pieces. Like that. Like that. I think this build kind of earns a little bit of its merit, just from watching Smashy get killed like 6 times in a row. Let's see how much healing here. Yeah, 82 million damage, yeah.
An agent is no longer in your group.
So he did second on damage, but he also took... This Gaxo was the tank, and the other random guy that was with us got hit. Skaxo was a tank, and this guy still got hit more. Alright, how much healing? Healing received. Smashy received 94 million healing. This guy received 73 million, and the other guy received 43, but I think a lot of it was his. How much healing did I do? I'm out healed. 285 million.